Hey guys,
Oh, hey, dude. Good to have you, man. How's it going?
really good, and you?
Yeah, not too bad.
I just finished writing my master's thesis like a few minutes ago.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, it was pretty hard and very long.
Yeah, I remember mine. Oh God, that was a long slog.
Yeah, I still
Well,
have to put it into latex though, and like this will take also a lot of time.
yeah. Are they still doing that in latex after all this time? Like, not switched to PDF again? It's like, oh God, universities and their legacy stuff.
More time for MM.
Ah, hey, lad. Ooh, some fun matchups there.
When you're
Ah,
streaming, are you watching the games on the Twitch? So you're like,
yes.
okay, so
Yeah, I'm
like
just watching.
you're probably a few seconds ahead of uh, well, the what
Yeah.
we're saying is a few seconds ahead of what people are seeing, right?
Yeah, a few seconds behind. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I just watch it on Twitch with the sound off,
Okay.
but just so I don't get lots of echoes.
Yeah.
For me, it's a little bit problematic. For sometimes I do have really bad connection where I do live, and this is one of those days.
God. Yeah, I've not been too bad on connection recently. Like, I moved out of London, so that was probably the reason why. Hey, Cat Truck. So, muted himself.
Yeah.
Okay, should I just queue up the games and see what's queued for
Yeah,
now?
sure.
Yeah, go for it. Not sure if we've got any of the Probox games at all, or because I know we had them last time.
Actually, I haven't checked are these robots games. They shouldn't be, but should we double check?
I think it's fine. I think we can just go with that.
Oh, I see. There's the Dandaman versus Micro Machine in the list that you posted, Savlas. I have one that is against Dandaman that is a bit better than this one. I think maybe I could add it instead.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes. How's it
Hi.
going,
All right.
man?
Yeah, not too bad.
Cool.
If
So
you
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Raf already queued up the game, so okay, that's nice. Should I skip one of the Micro Machine games? What I have on the queue.
Yeah, skip this one. I added another one that is also Dandaman versus Micro Machine.
So yeah,
Okay, cool.
But make sure to add the Anidev versus Micro Machine. I haven't watched them yet. I know you added the Dandaman versus Micro Machine.
oh no, that's the DQ that one that you've just added, and then add the other one. I think. Is it possible to DQ on here, or I'm guessing it must be, right?
I didn't understand.
It's possible to DQ something, like remove it
Hmm.
from the queue.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it's possible to remove from the queue, but you can just skip the one if we don't want to watch something.
Yeah. So I got dragged into another game of Neptune's Pride this week.
A game of Neptune. What?
As
Neptune's
Neptune's Pride, it's basically like a big like real time RPG style 4X game where it takes like literally weeks and everything's going the whole time.
Okay.
It's quite funny, but
So do you get to sleep or what?
I know you get to sleep, but it's like if you
Maybe
sleep,
it's going
you
the whole
can't do all
time.
of- Yeah, it's basically you can set up like queued orders and stuff like that, so you can go asleep and it will execute the orders that you've got queued. It's just you have to check it when you wake up to make sure you've not lost everything.
Oh, geez. Never heard of this game before.
That's quite fun. It's like a web-based game.
Yeah, I played these type
Sounds
of game when I was young.
interesting concept.
Yeah. I put it in the stream channel. That's maybe we should
Okay, what do you
arrange a
guys
game.
think? What do you guys think about the Tyr versus Fidolina? There's a little bit spoiler alerts from the chat, so should we just skip that one?
If it's a match we'll see this week, we probably shouldn't watch it. So if it's Fidolina versus Tyr, let's not watch it.
Let's skip that one.
But probably the tier will be a lot different, no?
I'm sure they're both
actually.
updating. I know Fidolina is, and I've never heard of Tyr not updating, so could be different, but let's still, just in case, let's not spoil.
Yeah.
We can play it next week as a what should have happened replay.
Yeah, we should do that.
Looks like this game gonna still
Just
take a lot of
opening up
time.
bracket 3 so I can check if there's any games we have to skip.
I think this one's actually quite interesting at the moment, but yeah, it looks like Nickbot's
I think
actually
the only
come a
game is
long way.
Fidolina versus Tyr that we have to skip, but others we can keep.
Yeah. I swear Nickbot's come a long way since I last saw it. Like last time I saw it, it was pretty bad, but this looks like it's actually doing well now.
I think we can queue up a game from that one also. Actually, it's on the screen at the moment.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, the machine learning part of Nickbot is the build order. So it used to have issues where it had trouble teching up. You know, it'd start building bio, but then it'd have trouble getting up to like Vikings tech, for instance, as the machine learning had to choose to go up to starport.
It's been beating my
So
butt.
I think in that regard, it's gotten better.
Yeah. It's definitely improving a lot. So maybe at some point it'll start taking over once it works out the absolute best builds.
I'd be happy just to see a machine learning bot do any aspect of the game in a really powerful manner. That would be impressive to me.
Yeah, those are not easy tasks to achieve with the machine learning. Is it the build order, unit micro, or whatever? It's always part of the of a bigger puzzle. So it will be a difficult task to achieve, anyways.
Yeah, it's a difficult task, and then even if it is, even if you have the right solution, you may not have the ability to get enough practice games to get it good. but it is kind of cool to have some machine learning on the ladder.
Hello, good evening.
Hey, dude.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Not much.
Evening,
We were
welcome.
just, we were just gonna stream all our cat videos.
All of the cat videos, I just missed those. Damn it.
Yeah, sorry, we've already got through them all, so
Well,
missed out.
what's the point? What are we doing here if there are no
Nice.
cats?
I don't know. I guess we
Where are the cats?
guess we call the stream over then. Like, yeah, sorry, guys.
I mean, yeah, scammers. I was promised a cat.
Oh, next week. If you tune in early enough.
Anyway, I wanted to let you guys ask questions about the merger between Sc2AI and AI Arena and our plans for the future, which we want everybody to be in the loop, but obviously we did a shitty job at that. So here we are.
We're doing our best, but it's
Yeah.
yeah.
So why don't you break it down for us, Alad? I mean, like, what's going to be left over of Sc2AI, and I guess AI Arena is going to be expanding outside of just StarCraft. So we can talk about those two things.
Yeah. Okay. So first, Sc2AI is not going to change or become smaller. It's going to stay the same. But instead of playing on their current infrastructure, it will be playing on AI Arena, and it will be exclusively in charge of SC2 in AI Arena. Why am I saying that? Because we do have a plan to expand to other games, maybe even Rocket League, or invite Brood War authors to also have a league here, or I don't know, whatever we come up with. Do you want to say something, Crypt, before I go?
Yeah, so what I would say is basically we're going to move to a different sort of like the Sc2AI part is going to move to a different format essentially. We're going to archive everything that we've done before, so all the old seasons. So you won't be stuck with our old crappy website and infrastructure. That will all go, but it will be stored on an archive site. So the archive will be there, so you'll be able to access all the old replays, all the old results, and tournament results and everything like that. The wiki from Sc2AI will remain. So the AI Arena wiki will be probably devoted to the other games, whereas the Sc2AI wiki will be kind of like the main point of contact, wiki point of contact at least for Sc2AI AI Arena stuff.
For everything related SC2 in our realm.
Yes, yeah, essentially that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so essentially the tournament format will kind of remain. So we'll still have the same sort of like seasons and a season-ending tournament. But obviously we've yet to work out the exact details of that.
Yeah, I'm applying a lot of pressure on Crypt to give us a weekly event on the weekends, like a King of the Hill or something. So this is your chance, guys. Tell him we demand it. We demand that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is something that's currently in discussion, but ooh, is that like a nice little SCV pull going all the way across there? Anyway,
People, the boys.
no, that's the best boys pull I've heard in a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's essentially what's currently in discussion is we're going to have like a weekly stream at the weekend that will involve some form of competition, whether it be a King of the Hill. Obviously, it won't be the prize will be very low, and obviously it won't be a huge long competition, but it will be some form of weekend stream, possibly like King of the Hills being discussed, but there's other ideas floating around as well. So if you've got any ideas for stuff like that that you want to see that you think you fit in, that's something we really want to go with as well.
The goal of this thing is to be the community stream is doing great and people love it, and if we want to go into details, people love interacting with each other and talking about this subject with each other. We all really enjoy doing that. So we want to add another day in the week with more custom content for our community. That is the idea for that.
So, I mean, it's going to be a very different split because the community stream is basically we'll hang out, watch replays, comment on the replays, and talk about this sort of stuff. But I wanted the kind of weekend thing to be a more competition-based thing so that people tune in for new stuff and new results. Like, I mean, there's possibly going to be some prize pool for it. The prize pool will be pretty low. One of the ideas actually we thought of was if we do King of the Hill, we'd have like a small prize pool every week, but the prize pool won't be claimed until the king actually loses his crown. So the
whoever
pool
the
keeps going
most
up.
takes the money. Like if you kick someone out, you take the money.
I don't think that would be quite fair. So
it's negating interest, I think, right?
yeah. So essentially, you get a certain prize every week, and then the person who's king of the hill would get half of that prize when they're knocked off the perch, and the person that actually beats them would actually get the other half of that prize. So the prize increases as it goes along, but also
Cameras! No, we need to rethink that, rethink the rules.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. Like, feel free, everyone, to come up with your own suggestions.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it will be whatever we want it to be, essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm already ready to reap out most of the rewards.
Yeah. Yeah, damn it, man. You can't take everything. You've taken the last 3 tournaments, is it? No, 2 tournaments.
Well deserved, though. Well deserved.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since I haven't won a Probot tournament. I think I lost the 2 last ones.
I think you don't stand a chance in Probots. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that. I think you're getting sniped like so hard by everyone. You really don't stand a chance in a tournament right now.
Yeah,
Because
but long term, all that does is make him stronger, though. Every time we find a hole in this game, he just fills it up. There's one less hole.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm pretty sure there's still a lot left.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a big road ahead of us, no doubt.
But they're just harder and harder to find, so it's also harder to snipe.
The key for me too is to try to snipe in a generic way. I don't want to just like, okay, this will only work against Micro Machine on this map or something like that. I want to actually create a new build that will make sense and have be able to be Micro Machine, which is basically impossible.
Yeah,
good luck.
Your time.
What is Sam? Sorry, I missed the last part.
If you're planning on doing some code that only works against Micro Machine, you're just losing your time because
Yeah.
less than a few weeks.
And eventually, if you want to beat Micro Machine, you need to improve your bot, not just snipe Micro Machine. There's no running away from that.
But
for now, it's just snipe.
Yeah.
I do find it quite interesting, the difference in like meta shifts where you get the Probots tournament where you can update every week. I kind of like that idea, really, of just being able to kind of like put a week's worth of work into sniping an opponent. But then it does. The other side of that is like it does put a lot of pressure on people to be available and have time that specific week to do it. Whereas other tournaments, it's like, hey, you've got like 2 months to write your bot, go for it.
Yeah. That's the big downside, that it requires more resources from the authors to invest, but it makes the event more exciting, in my opinion.
See, the other thing I like to do is basically if we were doing like one night a week, we get one of the authors on each week, and they have like 3 hours to write a bot or something and put it on the ladder and see. You basically put it on the ladder for a week and see what's the highest elo it gets.
Okay, So I'm going with you here. I'm rolling with you here, and I think maybe like special constraints, like Fun Day Monday thing. Like you can not build Medivacs or whatever. I don't know. Like think about something like that.
So Micro Machine wins again then.
God, Damn it! He's taking all of our money.
How about no cyclones? Then we'll have a fighting chance against them.
Yeah, let's disallow like the most common unit and make people try to adapt to figure out other stuff. Like if Terran Terran mostly uses Banshees and Cyclones, so this could be like you have 3 hours to write a winning Terran bot that is not allowed to create not a Cyclone and not a Banshee.
I actually kind of did the opposite of that, where I've already coded my Cyclone micro, but I've never made a Cyclone before with my bot.
Yeah. Maybe just disable Tempests.
But again, I don't know. I mean, 3 hours is such an arbitrary short time to get something done, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it would work out, but it would be fun.
So in this game,
Maybe like a 1 week thing, right? Like if you wanted to run it on the weekend, then maybe it's like, okay, this week, this is what your task is.
Yeah. I
And then
think
people
that
can find
makes
time as they want to. You may end up only spending 2 hours on it, but
But you have the entire
you
week
can
to
spend it
think
whenever you
about
want.
how to do it. Yeah. I think that makes more sense, much more sense. And like have submissions and analyze those submissions on stream, just like Fun Day Monday, just in a shitty, less entertaining way because Day 9 is a god.
Okay, yeah, no, that might work actually. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And also, it will open our eyes to new possibilities because when people are out of their comfort zone, then we discover new strategies. That's how it always happens.
Force everyone to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really good. So you might actually discover like one of the units that nobody ever bothers using is actually really powerful. Like I don't know.
Yeah. I expect many things like that to happen. I mean, just like Ketrock discovered Widow Mines and auto turrets lately after thinking they would suck.
It's actually working out quite well for you at the moment.
Yeah, and it's very underdeveloped. I'd say at least half of the auto turrets I place are a complete waste of time. So if I get more efficient on placing them, then I can attack like twice as often, I think.
Yeah.
What? Say again,
But with
sorry.
that said, I don't think anyone's really countering auto turrets yet, so.
Oh, yeah. Well,
there might be a little situation like drone drill. I put it once, if it becomes strong, people will start coding against it, and then it won't look so strong anymore.
But is
well,
there
you could say
auto turrets? Like you can ignore them or just flee from them.
Flee for them. That is the correct thing to do because trading with them is losing money.
Yeah.
But sometimes you still want to go in and just not lose your time because
yes, but identifying those opportunities is the most. I call it art. In my book, it's art. Like
I'm sure most bots don't even consider ravens a threat, let alone auto turrets. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of that's what I'm known for playing actual StarCraft 2. So it's kind of cool that my bot can somewhat do it. And I think there's certain bots that my main strategy loses against, but Master Raven wins against. So it's nice to have a backup strategy for like tournaments.
I think you should be diverse and not predictable to some extent. If you want a chance, a real chance to get far in a tournament. Being predictable is the worst thing. I mean, evidently, snipes are happening right and left, right?
Yeah.
Something is not perfect with your bot, and you're giving other authors enough time to find that thing.
For me, it's a lot of work because I didn't really build my bot in a way that makes it easy to change strategies.
Well, you don't have a framework that gives you the tools to do that. You need to build the tools yourself.
Yeah.
Which is, that's a lot.
I'm doing that with micro right now. I'm kind of setting up a generic way to do micro for all my units, so then I can kind of overload some methods for units that have special
Yeah,
special
exactly.
cases like
Inheritance.
Tycoon stuff. Yeah.
I should
Yeah.
have done that. Now my
You should.
micro is a big, huge pile of mess, but it's
Well,
working
so is
great.
mine, but it's just one
Yeah.
big pile of mess now instead of multiple piles of mess.
That's what you do with refactoring. That's the
Yeah.
perfect example.
But I haven't done anything when it comes to like making build orders generic or different strategies generic.
I
Every
think
time
the
I want to
only
use a different strategy, everywhere like all throughout my code, I have to say, okay, look, if I'm doing this strategy, then don't do this, or if I'm doing this strategy, don't like. There's so many if thens I'm doing just to make my bot support multiple builds.
yeah, that's
super ugly.
that's the first approach of everyone, I think, before you start thinking about abstraction and reusing your code when you start to see patterns that are repeating. You know, like I'm doing this in 3 different files, I can just import it.
Hmm.
Like just are you going to contribute that micro framework you're working on, Ketrock, to the Java API?
I mean, maybe I'd probably need help from a more experienced programmer. I don't think anything I'm writing is
I'm
API
sure.
worthy, but maybe some utility classes I might add to the Java API.
Yeah,
I got
I
a
think
lot
that
of methods around manipulating positions that I think would be handy.
the Java API deserves a lot of love that it did not get yet. That will help out new authors to get going faster.
Yeah.
And since I despise Java, I have no idea how to help
Yeah.
help that.
I may take a look at it at some point.
Vitalina, I've seen her source code and it looks like she knows what she's doing. She looks like
Yeah.
a lot more
It's a he,
experienced
but
developer
yeah.
than I am.
It sounds like
I-
a very female name, so that's why we always
Yeah, it
refer
does.
to
It
it as
does.
she. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I don't even know. She, he, whatever.
Yeah. Maybe he's a bot,
It's
like
not-
he's writing in chat.
Yeah, sorry, Fiddlina. We're very sexist around here. No, we're not really.
That is a female name, though, isn't it? I think I've heard of
It's a dog,
someone
I
by that
think,
name,
or a
like
wolf, or
some athlete, a volleyball player or something. I can't remember. As it.
So yeah, I think if you can abstract the work you Java guys are doing on your bots and make it reusable and contribute it to the generic Java API, I think you will only gain from that, because instead of 3 Java authors, we could have 10 Java authors that are helping each other and discussing stuff with each other and whatnot, because it will be easier to get into.
Yeah. Maybe I'll take a look at the Python API, see how they set things up.
Yeah, that would be a great, if you can mimic the functionality of the Python API, that would be perfect. Where did Savelas go?
Has
I think
problem.
his internet is problematic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was
That's
a
a
little
shame.
bit robotic when he was speaking.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the first topic. Where did we leave that off? I don't remember.
I think we were just talking about possible like tournament formats and stuff we can
Oh
do.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so that's regarding the SC2 side of things. Regarding the changes to AI Arena, yeah, we plan to expand ourselves to be a generic AI competition engine. We feel like there is a need for that, and it's not available right now. And obviously, for the next 6 months, maybe a year, we won't be touching any other game. I don't think we will only be optimizing and refining the current ladder until we feel like it's time to expand to other games. Which also might bring the questions of our supporters. I just want to calm you guys down. I mean, I assume most people won't have a problem with that, but right now our supporters are expecting their money to be invested in SC2. And when AI Arena becomes generic, we will have to ensure that that money still is invested in SC2. That's just what I wanted to say. Or if you want to support other ladders or the entire project, of course you could.
I think the main takeaway is that that's not a big concern at the moment because, like as you said, we'll be focusing on SC2 for quite a while, I imagine. And once we get the other one set up, then we can figure it out from there.
Yeah.
You can always have the donators like mention which game they're interested in. That way you can keep track of like, okay, 80% of our donators are interested in StarCraft 2, so
yeah.
that's
So
where we'll focus the
Fiddlerina's
funding.
just
Or
asking in
80%
chat.
is in
Yeah,
Rocket
Fiddlerina
League.
was just asking in chat what other games we're thinking about. So I think the two that have been suggested is Rocket League and Brood War, obviously, but there might be others.
And then Frost Giants in the future when you get a job there,
Yeah.
Trip, and make sure they have an API.
Yeah,
That
they
is-
haven't got back to me yet, man. But yeah, I might give them another call, see if I can like get in there. But yeah, from what I hear, they're not actually hiring a lot of people at the moment, so it's all for the future.
Sorry to cut you for a second. I want to ask everybody that is watching this that has a GitHub account to please star our repository. We need to reach 100 stars, and then we'll be available. We will be able to get approved. Sorry, my English is a mess today. Get approved by the Open Source Collective, which means we will have a bank account tied to the organization, which means it will open us many doors for growing later on.
Yeah.
Let's put a link to that repository in the video description when we put this VOD up on YouTube.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
100 total stars or for?
That is what they wrote in their criteria, the document. Yeah.
But I think
someone was mentioning it's probably for a single repository though.
I would imagine, yeah.
I
but
starred a lot of
star
people.
everyone.
I just started them all.
Yeah, me too.
So,
and I'm pretty sure that you're well over 100 right now.
Yeah, they want the community validation is like, I want to see that people believe in your project, right? So they want unique stars. They don't want like, if we have 100 repos, then one person can give us 100 stars, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the games that have API are obviously the first targets to be added, which is Brood War and Rocket League. We also can consider constructing custom APIs for other games if people have ideas. We could be using many tools to do that, like scraping the screen or mimicking like a real human play. There are many methods to create an API for a game. Poker is a great idea.
Actually,
be careful of those though. Might be against terms and conditions of these games.
Poker? Poker doesn't really have terms and conditions, but yeah.
As long as no money is involved, it's at least in Israel. I don't know the rest of the world. As long as nobody is winning or losing any money, poker is just a card game, nothing else.
Yes, exactly. Like so, it's basically free for everyone to use. It's not like copyrighted by anyone. So, but yeah, you would run into problems with various laws if people started betting on it. So, we'll start up.
The only
was
thing about poker is, I'm sorry for cutting you, Crypt. The only thing about poker is that it's a game that fits AI research really well, because it's a game about making decisions with incomplete information, much like Sc2. But it's not about the gambling side of it at all. Continue. I'm sorry for it.
Yeah, I was saying like we could even do like other games, like chess bots and stuff like that if people were into that, you know. But yeah, I did actually make a poker bot before I made my Sc2 bot.
Me too.
Yeah, they were fun. Didn't make me a lot of money, but it was good laugh.
Mine played exactly 10k hands on 888 at 1 cent, 2 cent tables, and it won $100 in a week in 10k hands.
Nice. But that's pretty
which
good.
is really impressive. Yeah, it's 10 times better than an average winning player at that time, at least.
Yeah, generally the skill of the players don't improve that much over time, but yeah, I mean there was
no, I think many math wizards that wanna make some easy money are grinding the micro stakes right now. It's not like what it used to be. Like a lot of good players are playing the micro stakes, where you would expect to find people that are just learning how to play the game.
Yeah, but also like I think that those are still like the minority there, and like yes, the skill of the top level is always going to improve, but the skill of the rando who plays it once a week is not going to improve that much. Like so, and I think that makes up the majority of the actual people that play. So, you know, you're not gonna, even if there are a few absolute wizards that are playing at that level, they're not going to make up the majority of the people. But anyway, that's completely illegal to use it to make money, and we're not going to do that. We're just going to arrange some nice, fun tournaments between ourselves.
Yeah, when I said terms and conditions of games, I meant like if you make a bot that plays like say League of Legends using screen scraping, that would be against their terms and conditions, because that's something that can be used to like cheat on their ladder.
Yeah. Okay, I got
so
it.
You gotta be careful with some of that stuff, at least if you're going to make the tools public.
Yeah. So I mean, the games which just so far kind of like with Brood War and Rocket League are all ones that have APIs that are already out there. So I don't think at the moment we're going to be writing APIs for games.
No, I think the ones
not in the near future.
Come with APIs better.
Yeah, we'll take it one step at a time. It depends. Maybe we'll have like, I don't know. You never know what will happen a year from now, right? But right now we were focusing on the next step, and maybe a couple steps after that, not further. Meaning the finishing the merger and deploying the multi-ladder, and that's our main goal right now, right?
Yes, yeah, that's pretty much everything we need to do. Which reminds me, I should start filling out more tasks on the GitHub. I haven't gotten around to that. Sorry, I've just been really busy with other things and kitties.
It's fine. It's fine, man.
It's all right.
I mean, your cat is more important than AI Arena. We all know that.
Yeah, she's more important than me. She knows it as well. Like,
yeah.
just got that stare like, feed me, feed me, feed me, and I'm like,
I want to be here. I want it there. I want to sit here. I want to sit there. Now I want to be here. Let me in. Let me out. It's like, no. You call him. I'm calling my cat, and he's like, I'm coming because I want to come, not because you asked me to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's literally what he's saying when he's coming to me.
Yeah, it's like looks at you for a minute and goes, "You want me? Yeah.
Okay.
Go on then. Fine. Just once."
Yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway.
Okay, we can also analyze StarCraft 2 games. I mean, if you guys are up for it.
I mean, that's kind of what we're here for. Like, I'm sure, like the rest of everyone isn't tuning in to hear me talk about my cat. You know, like, let's start analyzing Sc2. That's probably a good plan.
Well,
this
this
is
is the
a
game that Raf mentioned. I wish I saw the details from the beginning because I was really zoned out. About Dan beating him without updating his bot for
Yeah.
like a couple of months,
Mhm.
right, Raf?
Yeah, right. He hasn't updated, and MM still lost, even though I'm still updating. But I think it's uh, like my bot. I still have a lot of difficulty dealing with so many cyclones.
Yeah, that's overwhelming.
I think my
Looks
bot isn't the one with the best cyclone micro, so it can lose some cyclone fights, and then it has nothing really to come back. It produces too many Vikings, and then the PCs aren't super useful. They often kill one cyclone with their Yamato, but then they just die out of range. So they're not super
yeah.
useful.
I think you need to utilize units that you're less inclined to use, like Marines, to kill that.
Yeah.
Cyclones are not effective against Marines. I mean, lock-on is the most
Well, I think
wasteful thing to do to the Marine. I'm sorry, what?
I'm not. I don't agree because I've seen a lot of games of Micro Machine versus Gensibot where Gensibot was using a lot of Marines, and the Marines are just not able to kill Cyclones because Cyclones, when they're well micro, they'll just lock on and back, and they'll deal some chip damage to the Marines,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they'll kill them without getting hit. So
Yeah, you're
they,
right. You're right. You need tanks as well
yeah,
with those Marines.
yes,
But the idea is that Marines force the Cyclones to lock onto them and essentially lose value by doing that.
yeah,
And tanks clean up the area.
yeah,
Yeah, pre-siege tanks are decent versus Cyclone.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, well microed stim marines would work, but that's basically the only other answer. That's why Cyclones are so like game ending when TVT. Like whoever
Yeah.
has more Cyclones and micros them better is typically almost always the winner. Because
I
it's
think
good versus almost everything else in the Terran repertoire. All the air units, all the mech units.
hmm can also kill the Widow Mines without getting hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much tanks are the only real answer to the Cyclones.
Yeah.
I guess you could also cloaked banshees shenanigans, like cloak and decloak to waste the lock on.
It doesn't
Yeah,
work
but then they
against
just get a
that.
Raven.
Yeah,
And good luck
Yeah.
sniping the Raven when there's a whole ton of Cyclones around the Raven.
yeah.
Yeah, bodyguards.
Once I got speed Banshees, I noticed my Banshees do at least average, maybe above average versus Cyclones.
Mhm.
But getting to speed Banshee without dying is pretty difficult versus Cyclone openers.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
pretty
like
long.
Straylock used to always go mass Cyclone, and I could beat him sometimes if I got enough speed Banshees going. They just trade pretty well.
Yeah, Strelok is also beating Micro Machine most of half the games.
He's
Oh, really?
doing amazing work over there.
Yeah,
I don't understand him. Sometimes when we see him in ProBots, he's just still using like some ancient proxy Raxel in, and then sometimes we see him beat Micro Machine with like this crazy developed strategy. It's like a
Yeah,
mix of like a Straylock from 3 years ago and a Straylock current Straylock.
it is clearly exploring and trying to find what it likes to do, and I really like it. I really like to see it, like trying new things and then deciding if it should build on top of that or just dump it and then try something new.
so now there's a game of Annie versus Micro Machine, and it's not happening the same way it did on Probots. On Probot, the Banshees were really strong against it, but now it seems
Now
like
he has Vikings and he fixed it. Okay.
yeah,
Good job, Savelas. It really broke my heart to see you die to Banshees when the counter was not very far out of reach just make a Raven and you should be good. Is this a mass? No, it's not a mass mine game. I already see many cyclones.
Cyclones and Marines, so it's pretty good against
3-fact cyclone.
Any stream managers? One of you has the team viewer open, by any chance?
Not me. What do you want? Production tab?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can do that.
You can do that? Okay, thanks, man.
Micro Machines leading the economic game, but since
This is so even. Oh my god. Yeah.
like Micro Machines trying to harass with Banshees, but it just doesn't work at all. So it leaves
And
a bit of army here and there.
you don't have like a turn off this strategy after it fails 3 times or whatever. Like after you try to deal some damage with 3 banshees and it doesn't work out.
Yeah, no, it would try until it transitions to BCs. So.
Oh, okay.
So if I
was thinking about that with my bots, but sometimes you fail 3 times, and then the 4th time you just kill like 100 SCVs. So I'm not sure like if actually deciding to turn off is smart or not. I think basing it on the static defense you see might be smarter. If you're seeing like missile turrets in every base, then maybe turn it off, something like that.
Yeah, I meant some evaluation function that is obviously not a simple function to decide if it's worth pursuing or you should give up and try something else.
But sometimes they just shut you down with like cyclones and ravens, but then one time you get in, well, he's attacking somewhere else and you just get so much damage done that you're happy you didn't turn it off. So,
yeah, I remember seeing one Helion killing like 50 SCVs. Pretty much like that.
Counter attacks are so effective and there's not enough of them on the ladder.
Yeah, definitely. Counterattacks and surprisingly, multitasking, multi-prongs especially. Yeah. Bots are not equipped to split their armies in an effective way. Not yet, at least, from what I'm seeing.
So here, Micro Machine is just losing everything. It has too many Vikings that are just useless against those cyclones. So I still have to manage my Viking count.
And if you siege a couple of tanks on the ramp here, you hold this.
Yeah.
With the BCs hovering above them, like protecting them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then you can kind of build dive logic too. So like a couple of tanks isn't going to work versus 8 cyclones, but a couple of tanks definitely works versus 1 cyclone.
Yeah.
Well, I am assuming the priority is going to be the BCs above the tanks. But if the enemy is already adjusted himself and is prioritizing the tanks, then the BCs can get a lot of value there against the cyclones.
Yeah,
I think.
I guess the other issue is it's hard. We don't have enough information to know. Like all we know is like that one of your units is locked onto. We don't know what cyclones are using their abilities, and we don't know what which cyclone is locked on to which unit.
Yeah.
So sometimes like maybe you can pull back the unit that's getting hit and charge all the other ones in on the cyclones, but it's hard to know
yeah, you don't know if
which cyclones are safe to charge into that are already active on something else.
We need to hack this, don't we?
I tried to use the orientation of the unit to know if it locked on one of my units that has the lock on buff, but then it's the orientation of like the threads of the cyclones and not the head where the cannon is pointing. So it's
it may not have been effective anyways. I tried orientation to see what direction infestor is shooting its fungal, and it can shoot it sideways. It doesn't have to fully turn to shoot it.
This is an interesting mini project to train a bot to predict who is locked on its unit by just training it on against cyclones over and over.
Yeah. I think it's difficult to tell because you'd have to know for certain the result. So, like, you'd have to know which cyclone was locked onto you if you had a bunch of like 5 of them there.
Yeah,
So,
you would need two bots, one acting as a trainer, which will control the cyclones and report which cyclones targeted which unit by tag or something
Yeah.
like that, and build a reward system and let the bot figure out how to know which
Yeah.
cyclone is locked on to what.
I'm not certain. The main problem is if you had like a bunch of like 5 cyclones and you were trying to figure out which one locked onto you, but essentially the problem is it could be either of them, and there's no real right answer to that because
That's
any
what I'm
of
saying.
them could have been
Yeah,
locked on.
you're right, and that's why we cannot solve this problem. But I feel
Yeah.
like it is a problem suitable for machine learning. You could say that like on images that like image recognition. It has been said the same. There's like we can't write code ourselves to identify who is the person in that image, but we can train an agent to do that. I feel like there are variables we are not considering that a bot that trains on that could take into account.
I mean, we can figure it out pretty accurately. Not perfectly, but if you're actually tracking the enemy cyclones, and like every time one of your units gets locked onto, you check all the enemy cyclones that are within range, and then if you're tracking them, you'll know which cyclones are off cooldown at that time.
How do you know they're off cooldown? Do you know when they are locked on? You just don't know.
Well, based on your
on
guess
what?
of which cyclone it locked onto, because usually when you get locked onto, there's probably only one cyclone in range.
I see. Okay, so then it's
because
easy
they
to
don't like move into the middle of your army and start attacking, right? And then
Yeah.
if you based on which
happens
ones
when
you tag as locked onto yours, you know when their next cooldown will be. So you
if
can
it
kind of
becomes
figure it out with some accuracy. But it's not a simple thing just given to you in the API like everything else.
yeah.
No,
But
I
You
think
can't just say
I'm sorry, Raf. I see you're trying to say something. I'm just gonna say this. I think we can get to a high accuracy doing that. Train about like okay, image recognition is also not 100% accurate. I mean, those agents make mistakes sometimes. But I think we can train an agent to do much better than what we can hard code ourselves. That's what I think, anyway. I'm sorry, Raf. Sorry for cutting you.
I think it becomes hard to guess which cyclone is using its lock-on when you're trying to guess what's the visibility map of the enemy, because sometimes you have cliff that will block the cyclone's vision. So even though if they're in range, they're not using their lock-on, and then like at the same time they will lock on onto like 8 of your units because it had like one Viking came close, or
So
maybe
everybody is locked on that Viking. Like that's what you mean?
no, well, the cyclones has start having visions, maybe because they went up the ramp and then started seeing all of your units on top of the ramp, and then they all do their lock on.
yeah.
Then you can't know which cyclones use theirs and on which unit.
Because vision can expose a whole army at the same moment. All the
Yeah.
lock-ons could happen at once.
Yeah.
In which
So,
case the guessing will be very inaccurate to that point.
yeah.
That's the thing. I think again, it's just an assumption I'm making here, but from what I've seen, the ability that agents have to solve such problems is impressive. Problems that we literally come to a conclusion, like you just said, we don't have enough information to do this. But training an agent somehow makes it work. Maybe not, right? But I feel like this could be one of those types of problems.
Yeah, it's definitely worth looking into.
Yeah, but usually to train those kind of model, you need some ground truth values to let it know when it was right
Got
and
it
when
right and wrong. Yeah, yeah. You need to make a trainer. We talked about it earlier. Make a trainer that controls the cyclones and keeps tracks of which cyclone is locked on what, and that's your.
oh yeah, I guess if you control two bots, that's
Yeah, you do that with
Yeah.
2 bots.
Yeah.
And debug spawn, like just in the middle of the map, over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do a little experiment with that.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to set up, but yeah, it's going to take a while to train it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It would be fun. Right, I'm probably going to have to go, guys. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and I should be
Thank
around
you.
next week, and I'll definitely put some more tasks on our GitHub thing in a bit, so that'd be good.
Thank you. Cheers, Fritz.
All right, cheers, guys. Catch you in a bit.
Bye. So in this game, it's hard to believe that any bot is winning this one. But now I can see that my units are waiting in my base and not getting repaired. So it
Yeah,
might.
what is going on? I mean,
I don't.
the
I noticed that in the game against Dandaman too. So I think I have a new bug here. I asked my neutral to fix some things related to the repair. We call those the repair stations
yeah,
behind the CCs, and
yeah, in the middle of the mineral line,
yeah,
where the
probably
BCs are just waiting. Yeah, yeah, I see that.
there's probably some edge case that I didn't test. So it's
Do you have a test suit for your bot?
no.
No, huh? Yeah, it's
Yeah, that would
so
probably find a lot of
stressing to develop without a test suit.
yeah.
To me, it would have been at least like every time I add a new feature, it's like, how did I break something?
Yeah, usually it's yes.
Yeah.
Usually it's yes.
But it's often hard to find those bugs, and I'm not sure I would be able to do a suite of unit test that would or integration test that would be good enough because sometimes, but well, most of the times the bugs happen in really strange situation that I would not have coded into integration test because there's just so many of them.
Yeah, the main thing that it prevents is repeating bugs, like something
Yeah.
you fixed and then forgot about it, and then you change your code somewhere else without considering your latest fix, and that bug comes back. If you have a test for that, you would instantly know you just broke something.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know too much about this, but I find the things that are easy to write tests for, especially with this bot, is the stuff that will never break. And the stuff that does break, I don't even know how to begin to write a test for it because it's so game specific. I can't really like spoof the information.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely not a simple topic. I would agree. I think you need to spin up a Docker and run a live game to do a proper test suit for a bot, like when you add features or whatever.
Yeah, but like even one live game will hit maybe like 5% of the edge cases that could break.
Well, you debug spawn those edge cases. You create the scenarios, like especially for the
I
test.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
I guess you could like evaluate different scenarios using debug spawn in the middle of the map, and then when the scenario is finished, instead of like closing the game and starting a new
Exactly,
one, you just
exactly,
clear all the spawned unit, and then you create new ones, and then you go
exactly.
on to the next scenario. That would be really useful, but I don't want
No.
to code that, and
I
I
don't
prefer
think anybody does.
create new feature and new bugs.
And a lot of
Yeah,
it's like specific to the state of the game too.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
I
I guess if you're just unit testing, yeah, never mind. I'd have to think about it more.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that's easy to implement well, to do in a way that you actually benefit from it.
Gen Z is saying that the ladder is the best tester. Yeah, I agree. I see my bugs on the ladder usually. I'm always just watching the game that MM lost. So I'm pretty much always just seeing
Bugs. Yeah.
bugs.
It's the only way he loses.
Yeah, I see Micro Machine winning in tournaments. So that's the way I keep my sanity.
Yeah. How do you feel about it that you have literally zero chance to win a tournament with the best bot right now?
I
Why do
don't
you say
think I have
0% chance?
I don't think I have 0% chance. But yeah, I really don't know what Kitrock is planning on doing on the next matchup.
Someone will get you. Someone. You're being multi-sniped, man.
Yeah,
I've
but
coded one new
You-
strategy, and it's just a meme. It's just to make a joke. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of looking ahead. I think a little bit beyond Micro Machine. Like who am I running into in the lower bracket?
Yeah, me too. I started implementing features that will beat other bots, but probably not yours. So I'm just hoping that what I have at the moment will be enough to beat you. But I'll probably fix like bugs. I think uh, it's on Golden Wall. Yes, on Golden Wall, Micro Machine is not able to build the fifth base, so that's bad, especially against a bot that plays macro. So I fixed that like yesterday, and I planning on fixing other bugs like uh, on this one. There's the repair bug.
Wait, those are live in Probots, those bugs that you know about already?
We
Yeah.
haven't had our submission date yet because we're winners
Oh,
bracket,
okay.
so we
Okay.
got another week.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the moment I got nothing new for Micro Machine, but I still got a week to come up with something. We'll see. Yeah, I don't think you need 5 bases to beat Ketrock, since I don't think my bot's ever like gotten beyond 3 bases versus Micro Machine before dying.
Well, on the ladder, I think our last two games, Micro Machine had a tie against Ketrock because
Bug.
well, it just took so much time to try to kill you because you started to turtle up with tanks, and then Micro Machine can either get the too many action bug, or it can just not expand enough to get the resources it will need to.
Oh, okay. I get it. So delay the game, float to the corners. Okay, I got a new strategy. Actually, speaking of float to the corners, that is something I have added recently, where my structures that can float will now pick up and fly away until it's safe to fly back to its original location.
Yeah, that's cool feature.
Yeah, and
Especially since I'm building macro orbitals all over the map now in the late game, I figured that could come in handy. Because again, I've been trying to build my micro to be generic, so I'm like, well, I can apply this micro to structures as well. Why not? Anything that can move, may as well use it.
Yeah, definitely. And you just add like special ability methods like lift and land or whatever.
Same thing with like when I send my siege tank to the base that it's supposed to defend. When it's going over there, it's using the new generic micro, which by the way
Nice.
still works pretty well without pathfinding. I kind of just did what I did with the Banshee harass, but added it checks the pathable map, and sometimes my tank will diverts all the way around and like run circles around the behind a mineral line, and it still looks like it's microing pretty well without pathfinding.
Nice.
Yeah, so
well,
you had me
pathfinding
afraid
is
that I was just going to back into a corner and die, but it looks a little bit smarter than that.
well, you don't really need pathfinding from macro. It's more about, I think, evaluating the screen like an array, a subarray of the map, and deciding what to do with your unit in that limited screen, right? You don't need to create a path. You just need to find the safest spot to move to or whatever.
Well, for me, like I'm trying to get my tank to a certain expansion base to siege up. So I got my tank leaving my main base and it has a destination. So it's trying to get to that destination, and on the route there, it needs to divert around all the incoming damage.
Oh, yeah.
So it tries to get there as safe as possible, and then it shoots if there's something in range. But for the most part, it's trying to stay out of range.
Do you have a logic to siege and unsiege, or just on your base when it's at the right spot on your base it will siege?
Before it would just statically go to a base and siege up. Now it statically goes to a base and sieges up, but at least on the way there, it's trying to avoid damage.
Okay.
But no, it's not really joining the army and sieging and unsieging. It's more just a defensive tank.
You're not getting in here, tank. Yeah.
Like I've seen the micro of Gensi and Fidelina, and it's so well done for their tanks that it's hard to start and get something good working.
Like, yeah, because they both evaluate a lot of information, I think, for that. It's not a simple stutter step or leapfrog or something like that. They
and
actually
control their other units to stay within range of the tanks.
Yeah, of course. The unit complementing each other is key with tanks. Tanks are not a core unit, it's a support unit. It has to go with something to work. Genzi, do you have any games for us? Derg is new. I don't remember the name of the author, but I remember good things associated with this name, but I don't remember exactly what. Yeah, I remember Derg and Sprout are the new Derg that caught my eye, like as promising.
I think it's the first time I read this name. I don't remember it.
I don't see how he's going to beat Concussive Shell Marauders, though.
Especially if it tries to fight out of creep.
Yeah.
But it seems hard to do a logic that works well to keep your units on your creep, but you still need to go out sometimes, finish units.
It's complex logic, no doubt. Most of those decisions are very complex. There are many things to evaluate to actually come to the correct decision of what you should do right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously, but at the current stage, I would say only evaluate maybe 20% of the information relevant to make the best decision. Something like that. Like the location of the enemy units and distance and cooldowns. That's about it.
When you start trying to take into account the visibility of the units because of if they are on top of the ramp and if you're gonna sustain damage while trying to get up on the ramp, this becomes complex so fast.
Yeah, that's why you need abstraction for that, like Catrock is doing. But I'm pretty sure you're doing that as well, right? You have like micro class that everything inherits from and etc.
No, but I should.
Really?
Yeah, it's like I have a one big function that micros my army units, and then depending on their types, there's some function that's going to be called or not. But this could all be refactored into like some one type of class.
Unit. Let's call it unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I already have a unit class, but it's not used for like the micro part. So,
Oh, I see.
so it could be like a
A drive.
micro
I call them drivers, by the way. That's
driver.
because they drive the units. They are the pilots, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I call them drivers. And they all inherit from a base driver, and each driver has its own special tricks for its unit type. And so
That's definitely something I could do to improve the quality of my code, but I'm pretty sure if I refactor this, I'm gonna introduce a lot of bugs, and it's gonna take a lot of time to add no real feature. So it's not something I'm looking into.
yeah, it sounds a bit depressing.
It would
Luckily
be
for
hard.
this,
Yeah, it would be hard for someone else to start coding into it because like it's not really modular. But since I'm the only one working with it, I'm already able to navigate really easily into my code, so I don't really need to refactor.
Yeah, as long as it's not like something that is done as a, I mean, you and unusual.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say done as a team, but you both are familiar with the source code in a way that allows you to do funky things and still remember what you did and why.
Yeah.
For the most
Unusual,
part.
Unusual hasn't touched the micro yet, but he has one task that is related to micro, so he's gonna touch a little bit of it really soon. Maybe
have him
Good
touch
luck,
it right
unusual.
before our Probots match, please.
Yeah.
that's gonna be after our match.
Damn. I need the handicap. I think it'd be really fair if I had the same handicap that Antibot got. If you hit a base that has two gas geysers next to each other, I get to win.
Yeah. That's already fixed, but it's not uploaded yet.
Maybe you forget, Catrock. You never know.
Yeah.
You can make a pull request quickly to sabotage his bot and force him to merge it in. That wouldn't even work because he still has to package it and build it and everything. Wait, this is a new game with Derg, right?
Yeah, it was a Terran the other.
Yeah. It was done the man with proxy marauders.
This one's a lot closer.
Yeah, we get to see we see a proxy again, but I think we're going to see Derg move to the mid game here. I like how his probe is constantly checking for the natural.
The defense looks pretty good for Derg with the two spines. And it's varied with roaches and zerglings.
Yeah.
Two queens also in the natural. There's just nope right out of here.
Yeah.
They even chased.
That's the only way you can lose by stepping out of creep and chasing. Really.
Yeah, but if they're not fighting, it's a good thing.
But I mean, it's kind of silly that 4-gate proxy is still standing, I think.
Yeah. They are seeing it, but it's not a threat.
It's not a threat, yeah.
Maybe they're just farming the units that come out.
Actually, that's if it's a machine learning bot, that could be a real thing.
Yeah.
That it's like reinforced learning and it gets more points for killing units, then it wouldn't end the game. It would just wait, like camp outside the gateways and farm units.
Yeah. Oh, he's pretty passive.
Yeah.
Also not
I
extending.
mean, he doesn't have logic. Oh, he's clearing the buildings finally.
Yeah.
It's really surprising me that he doesn't have a generic logic for if there is an enemy building near my base, kill that.
It's also regrouping its zerglings before attacking. That's something I should do.
Yeah.
When I first started, I was producing only Marines, and I did some regroup logic that didn't work always. But now that I have a main army and other squads, the main army sometimes get like spread around, and when I try to attack, it doesn't go very well. I would need to recode the regroup logic. I
You
had
can
some.
you can use pathfinding for that to add rules to how to regroup correctly. I think you already have
You think
pathfinding.
how would that help?
You create an influence map that creates a proper path for regrouping, not walking through enemy siege tanks, for example, or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Well, when there's enemy close to my units, they will always fall back to the pathfinding, and they also attack if the what is generating the influence is not strong enough to kill them.
Okay, so what is the problem with the regrouping then?
It's
If
for how long, and what's the condition to stop trying to regroup?
okay. So it's
Because there's
basically evaluating if you should push or be defensive.
well, it's
If you should
well,
like reinforce the
let's
front
say
or
I'm trying to attack, and then I have like some units that are faster than others, and then the army gets a little bit too spread before it reaches the enemy base. So then I need to start regrouping. So how do I detect that my units are too spread? And and then when I regroup them, they all go into a ball. And then how do I know that this ball is tight enough? Like I've had problems where I was trying to regroup near a non-patable tile, and then that was making my units a bit farther uh, from every other unit because they were like splitting around that point. So that and then they were trying to regroup indefinitely. This,
interesting.
I was trying to like check the average distance of my units to the center of the regroup ball, and but that was and that value was a lot different if I have a few units and if I had a lot of units. So it's hard to know what's the right rule to.
Yeah. You need to really understand if you're winning or losing right now here in that point. If
Yeah,
you
like
should
is the group tight enough to win the next fight, or is it
because
better?
because sometimes you need to reinforce ASAP. Like there is a fight going on and you want your units there as soon as possible, and sometimes you want to regroup, like you said, where faster units reach there first and
Yeah,
should be waiting for the entire of the army.
yeah.
So deciding when to uh, reinforce and when to wait and regroup, that's
Yes.
hard.
Sometimes you don't even want to regroup because the enemy army is not there yet, and you want to damage before your slow unit arrive. But yeah, in general, you still want to regroup. And Savlas made an interesting point there, that to stop the stop the regroup behavior when the the average values of the distance between units and the regroup point stops uh, it's stopped diminishing, then you know that you're pretty much have a tight pack of units, so you can stop regrouping. I think that was something that I could use. It's a pretty good suggestion.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh, so then the man beat Strelok. Wow. Then the man,
Yeah, and he didn't update his bot. What is going on here?
yeah. It's impressive.
Later he's on vacation right now, but when he comes back, he tells us it's secretly a machine learning bot and it learns by itself,
Yeah.
and he managed to do what everybody else failed to do.
What's his rank right now?
That's it. It seems to be beating top bots and losing to lower tier bots sometimes. So I'm
Oh, then
assuming he
he's top 10. He's number 10 right now, then the man.
nice.
Strelok is not even in the top 10. It's the 11th place.
Yeah, it's very crowded up there.
Yeah.
Very, like what the Ketrok is number 6 with 1973. That was the elo of number 2 like a month ago.
Yeah.
Well, top ELO will be relative to how many bots are on the ladder. Every time a bot adds to the ladder, it's going to up the top bot's ELO.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if we had 500 bots on the ladder, the top guys would be like 3,000 ELO, just because it'd be more points to feed the top guys.
Yeah, you're right.
And there's still no other bot that reached the 80% win rate. I've been waiting
And
for this to see if there's.
it's not only 80% win rate, it's also for how long. Like how consistent is it?
Yeah.
I think your record is gonna remain unbroken for a long time.
Yeah. But
When I
like
was trying to qualify for pro bots, my bot was 90 something percent win rate. I was winning like 46 of the 49 games each round. I'd lose the micro machine, Fidelina, and then there's like 3 bots that I would sometimes lose to.
I remember you made it. You deactivated your bot, and 2 weeks later or something like that, you uploaded a new bot, and it was number 2 after a day.
Well, I was playing with Master Raven at the time, and then there's like, "Hey, Probot's is starting now." It's like, "Oh shit, I'm number 24. This is not good."
And then you keep your bot as is on the ladder for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then so many people just update, and your win rate is slowly decreasing.
Well, I switched it back to Master Raven again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but
I mean, when I first switched to Master Raven, it was also full of bugs. So sometimes I would get stretches of like 15 games in a row where I'd bug out right at the start.
Oh, that sucks.
So I don't think I legitimately dropped to number 24. I think it was just a whole ton of bugs that maybe dropped.
Yeah, but I'm talking in general. When I update, usually I get a bump into my elo graph, and then slowly my bot will lose a little bit of rating because people are adding some new features that can help them win against my bot.
Yep,
And then
that's standard, I think.
yeah, like I it's usually when I do a new big bug patch update that my bot gains the most elo in a short amount of time. And when I add new features, it usually wins against bot that it was losing before, and lose against bot that it was winning before. So it's
Yeah, your swings must be insane because when you win like 1 point. When you lose God knows how much.
yeah. Usually I win a lot of 1 points and lose a lot of 7 and 8 points. Yeah,
I think my greatest achievement was losing 3 points to Micro Machine in a match.
like
I'm like, wow, I've never gotten so high in the ladder that I can actually lose 3 points to Micro Machine. Usually it's 1 or 0.
also, Micro Machine is loading a lot of points recently to Better Worker Rush. Well, not recently.
Really?
It's been like 2 or 3 months where it loses every game against Better Worker Rush. like every change I make on the micro or the
Well, this is a perfect example for something you can write a test for.
yeah, that's right.
And make sure you don't break every time you add a new feature. Because I feel you, man. Like it's so hard to have a software that is so complex
Uh-huh.
and changing one component in it without affecting a bunch of others. It's really hard.
Yeah, it's like against the Better Worker Rush, I think I have like one unit that come out, usually a Marine, and then if I lose it, it's over. And I've checked the games where I lose, and usually the Marine is micro really badly, and I can't reproduce it on my computer, so I don't know what's going on.
That sucks.
So I probably try to change my logic against Worker Rush and just make more SCVs instead of trying to build a barrack and build a Marine. But I'm not sure if it will work, and I've already spent like 40 hours at least against Worker Rushes.
There is a question in chat for you,
Sorry about that, guys.
Raf.
Oh yeah.
What did you say, Getorg? Sorry.
I said sorry about that. I'm sure Drone Joe caused some headaches when he was on the ladder.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really impressive. Like that simple yet so effective strategy you came up with. Raf, there is a yeah, okay, you
Yeah,
answered him
I've
in
seen it.
chat.
But yeah,
Yeah,
the
Merkmore was asking Raf in chat, just for the viewers who are watching the VOD. Merkmore was asking Raf in chat if Micro Machine is overly complex. And I think it's an understatement to say absolutely.
like I'm very impressed with all the people that are able to create a bot that do well in like a weekend, and it's their code is like 1,000 line. This is like
Yeah.
I can't even imagine Micro Machine working with 1,000 line. When I started working on it, I used Command Center, which was already like 12,000 lines. So the bot was already pretty complex and did not do that much. It's more like a lot of code for the structure of the bot. Um, and then
Yeah,
I just continued and keep adding stuff. And it's become so huge, and probably that I could reduce the amount of code by
for
having
sure.
some
For
better
sure.
modularity. But
For sure.
from
Um,
what from what I've learned working on big complex bots and well, I also worked at
any software, not only bots. When
yeah, well,
it
software. I worked at Ubisoft, and the project was super big. And when you can have one big method that is like a list of things that are being done, this is so much easier to debug than if you have modular stuff and your code is bouncing from everywhere. This is harder to debug. So I like, even though it's not visually beautiful and it's a bit harder to like adapt into other situations, when you have big functions that are just action, well, commands that are
you can
listed.
say like 100 if statements, one after
Yeah,
the other.
yeah,
Like
and
you're just checking for every state in that one function,
yeah,
and
those
then
ones are
deciding.
yeah, those ones
Yeah,
are usually easier to debug. So,
that's how my poker bot was at the start. I just wrote if statement for any condition I could think of, and I had to order them properly because each condition resulted either in an action or move on to the next condition. So
yeah,
some of them need to be before others in that case. But in SC2 you can actually collect actions, so it's the order is less important, I think.
yeah. But like you can have instead a behavior tree. It's a bit more fancy. It's a lot more beautiful, but then it's getting hard to debug when you have a lot of different states and different actions that it can do. Like
Yeah,
at one when I was at university and we started working on the bot, I was working with other people and we decided to create a behavior tree to micro the marines, and at first it was it was working great, but then when I added more stuff and I put it on the ladder, and then I started having problem with the micro that we didn't encounter when we were using very simple tests, then it was getting so hard to debug that I just scrapped the whole behavior tree and just added like we were talking about a big function that do the micro. It was a lot
Well,
easier to debug.
that's a behavior tree. You can paint it as a behavior tree, like Boolean conditions. If this, do that. If not, continue.
Mhm.
That's the definition of a behavior tree.
Yeah, but the structure of the behavior tree, and like how you code it with your classes and stuff, uh, this is a lot simpler than what you can do.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Because we had like classes uh, for uh, for states and for actions, and they were
It's
all
really easy to, it's really hard, I'm sorry, to account for situations you
Mhm.
haven't seen yet, and to have your code ready to adapt to those situations. I think that's
Yeah.
the big challenge here. When you make something that works now, how easy is it to modify it
Mhm.
and change its behavior, tweak it, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, that's right. When you find the bug and then you're stopped into your code, and then if you have a lot of classes that well, like the way we did it, it was hard to get information about other stuff that were happening in the game because it was not in the same class. And
Not in the same frame or stack, you mean?
yeah,
Yeah, like because you call something, so now you're one layer deeper and you don't know what happens in the parent layer.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
I know what you mean. Well, today we have debugging tools that handles that pretty neatly, but yeah, I also
yeah, but with the behavior tree, there was like my stack trace that was full of like different states, but like they didn't have uh, a lot of information about what they were doing. So I needed to go check on each of them where the
mm,
code was called and to see if there was some information that I could use. And this was getting so complicated. And instead of having just one big function that I can find the information I want right away.
yeah, we have a really nice solution for that in Python. It's called Loguru. I will write it in chat. Second, Loguru. Probably the best logging tool I've ever seen.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, it 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 when we watched Infi work, when he had errors, you could see him showcasing Logoro. It was, you get like in the log, you get the entire stack, you get the value of each variable and who called it and from where and whatever. It's all like available in the log when you have an error.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Me and Injual, we created our own logging tool to be able to know what's happening in the game when we were not debugging it, especially like on the ladder.
Yeah, that's why I'm mentioning it, because it was one of the things I thought I would need to do to create a specialized logger, like to actually debug whatever happens in this. Because also debugging async code is a nightmare for me. So add to that, like you said, all the abstraction. I thought it's a big task for me to specialize the logging, but Logoro just does it for you.
Yeah. And do you have a profiling tool?
Yeah, I'm not using it yet because my bot is not that complex, but yeah, PyCharm already comes with a lot of handy stuff.
Oh, I didn't check on Python because I'm well with with Visual Studio, I haven't found something that was working well. Maybe there are like add-ons that you can add, but we created me and Usual created our own profiling tool, so we can see during our debug games what's the function that taking the most time, and we can have a list of all the methods that are called, and
Nice.
but well, not all of them, only the one that we add, like the thing we want to start and stop the profiling, and it does stats over like 50 frames, so we can know if they're called often or not, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so yeah, PyCharm offers that
Yeah,
out of the box. You get like a table with how much time was spent on each line of code and what was called the most and everything, like everything you
that's
mentioned.
that's really useful.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
It's
also logging the slow frames when it's on the ladder, so I can, even though I'm not debugging it at the moment, I can go back and see on what situation my bot was slow. That's helped a lot also.
Yeah, and that's so important, and it's such a big issue for new authors, I feel, that don't know how to optimize code like software engineers.
Yeah.
And they're not here for that. They're here because they are interested in AI, in StarCraft, or whatever. I feel like we can improve on that, on making common actions optimized. Not that we are not in a good place. Like Bernie SC2 is insanely good, but still authors have some common actions that are not included there that I think that could be added, like walling off, for example, how to wall off or whatever.
It's already in Sharpie, right?
Sharpie, yeah, I think.
Okay.
But Sharpie is using a custom grid, so you can't really modify it, I think. Or you can, but it's a bit hard to do. So Probot is in 2 days, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. The
2
losers
days.
bracket.
Yeah, Ketrok, who are you playing? Or no, Ketrok won.
Yeah, Kachuk is
What is
against Micro Machine in the
in the winners?
in the week.
Yeah. And I want to find that bracket now. Hold on.
Fidelina versus Tier is the big match, I think.
Oh, nice.
Blinkerbot's also in the bottom. It'll be a
Against?
tough match.
Against Mad
Not sure.
Against Mad AI, I think Blinkerbot's gonna win this one.
Probably, yeah.
Like Mad AI is very often into the like the top bots, and it's playing every tournament, but
It is not maintained though, right?
yeah, like it will almost never win against the top bots. Like it's a very good bot that wins against almost every new bot, but it almost never wins against the really good bots.
I think you can say the same about Kagamine,
Yeah,
which
right.
is a really good bot, but since it is not maintained, everybody found its vulnerabilities and
Yeah.
beat it pretty easily. Even though that bot has so much quality logic in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I also eager to see Trevor Lover versus Dougie Howitzer.
Oh,
See if Trevor Lover is gonna be beaten by Cheese. I don't know how it react against Cannon Rush.
Interesting.
The more I'm working with trying to figure out terrain, the more I'm thinking about maybe I'll make a cannon rush bot.
Yeah.
Because once I can kind of like figure out the shapes and the kind of the main base, the way the sides are built, then it's not a big task from there to figure out how to protect an early cannon position.
That is a great idea to actually develop logic for analyzing terrain by actually developing a cannon rusher.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm not sure how hardcore it is, but ChaosBot, he put a replay, uploaded a replay to Discord where he was doing very much the same sort of train as a cannon rush would need to be implemented, where he like float a command center into the enemy base and then wall off a little section with a bunker, so then you could have a safe place to put your Marines. I'm guessing all those positions are hard coded, but if they were calculated, then that's like easily just as complex as a good cannon rush should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad someone already made a proxy planetary. Made it work. Pre-calculated, he's saying in the
Yeah.
chat right now.
I think the replay I've seen from ChaosBot is the one where it builds like a proxy barracks and then floats it into the main, into the fog of war, and then it builds and then the SCV just walks into the main, goes into the fog of war, and there's no probe that follows it, so it builds a bunker, and then all the Marines go into the bunker, and then the position is really safe, but the the Protoss doesn't even know that it's there, so it's not doing any damage. So it's a really great game.
Yeah, yeah.
But then after there was enough units that were produced, they started attacking, and Protoss just reacted by sending everything into it and just lost everything. I think it was against Tyr.
I also remember, yeah, Tyr likes to. You just reminded me a few weeks back. We watched a game of Savelas against Tyr, where Tyr T. It was a Terran, where he stole his he blocked his natural, and Savelas was like, "Oh, okay." Just skipped it and ignored it, and there was like a bunker there and army units and whatnot, and Savelas just walked around them and expanded to his third and fourth and went on to win the game after that.
Tier T is probably the least strong tier bot. Well, at least for the Zerg, it's really strong against Terran. I don't know if it's strong against Protoss and Zerg.
Really?
Yeah, the tier Zerg bot is Micro Machine had a lot of difficulty winning against it because it goes like mass Zergling, well, mass speed Zergling, and so you
Yeah,
like
Cyclones
only,
are not good against that.
yeah, so
Banshees also.
but I was still producing Hellion, so I was defending pretty well against it. But then while it's attacking in your base, it's transitioning to mass mutas, and then it attacks with like 6 mutas at once. So if you haven't scouted it because you were busy defending, and then you had like a lot of Hellions, then you get hit by
Yeah, it was a snipe. He's just saying that in chat right now.
Yeah, I think it's still a good way to beat Micro Machine. It can't react very well to fast transitions.
Yeah, I think Zerg should capitalize it much more because it's the thing that makes the Zerg like different from the other races. The ability to tech switch like that. Everybody else needs to set up. Zerg just need one building done, and that's it, and a bunch of larvae.
So no regret. Just do a simple 2-base mute all in versus Micro Machine and shred it. So we know that there's that possibility. You know, just make a whole ton of mutas and just commit really hard with it, and you can overwhelm them early.
Yeah, with good decision making for when to dive in and when to run away, which is.
Well, I think the decision is you dive in. There's no holding back. You get your 2-base muta and you go before he gets more Vikings and missile turrets and Cyclones.
And there's also additional pylons that had some games where it was transitioning from Stalkers and Tempests to making a lot of Zealots at once. So Micro Machine was not prepared to fight a lot of melee units, and it was working very well. But it's like
Yeah, because Micro Machine relies on marauders, right, to deal with the stalkers.
yeah. They
So if you
don't
make a bunch
use,
of zealots, then their marauders will get shredded, and then the tempests have a good time.
yeah, and all the Vikings are not good also against those zealots. They're pretty
That's
good
true.
against the tempests when there's like no air threats anymore. They can land and trade pretty well with the stalkers, but against the zealot, they're useless.
Yeah, zealots aren't mechanical, so you don't get all that bonus damage.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if they have charge, the concussive shells are not really effective at kiting them.
yeah.
So, yeah. Guys, I need to get off now. I wanted to thank everybody for joining us today for another awesome community stream. I wanted to remind everybody to go and star our repository on GitHub. If you want to support us, would be really appreciated. And on the VOD that will be after this, we'll have a link to our GitHub repository available there. Good night.
All right, see ya.
Yep, see you guys.
Bye.
I'll restart the stream.